Let's get at it. Cette diffusion est en direct. Parfait, c'est ce que l'on veut. Let's go, my friends. Hello, hello, my YouTube friends. Hello, my Clubhouse friends. This is Gabriel. This is Gabriel from Julia Media. I hope that you are doing incredible. And today, my friends, we are in for a trip because I'm going to share with you something that I never talked, never shared with anybody. And that's extremely important. That's how you can make stuff that you publish for free, actually bringing you clients. If that's something that you would like to see, and if you want to see more things like that, make sure that you subscribe to the Marketing Commandos shows on the YouTube channel, Gabriel Juliet, or if you want to have questions answered and you have anything that you need to ask, make sure that you go into the Clubhouse room to get your questions answered, because I can answer them live with you. That's why I have that room anyway. Let's get after today's topic. However, let me go and show you my slides. Here are my slides, and here we go. How to make content that sells for 24/7. That sells for you for 24/7. That's a big claim, but let me tell you something, guys. I really struggled at some point to understand the principle of how to do that. Like, how should you word it? How should you aggressively with a call to action, or should you do it a different way? Like, is there anything I'm doing wrong? I'm not seeing the numbers. And I struggled for that for a long time, until I really saw what the marketing, I really studied and understood what the guys that were like my mentors, what were doing. And I really dived deep into what they were doing on a daily basis with the content. And then I realized, oh, there is a solution. And I'm going to share that solution with you guys today. Now, quick introduction for those who don't know me. I'm Gabriel, Yuval Gabriel from France. And I'm the founder of Juliet Media and Juliet Productions. We take care of video production, we take care of photo production, and we also do online marketing, as we can see on the Marketing Commandos shows. Now, today, guys, now that you know me, we're going to go and talk about how to make content that sells for you 24/7. Yes, 24/7. It's just about learning the right process to have, and then you're good to go. But before that, make sure that you subscribe to the show. There's a new episode every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As you can see, even on Sundays, those guys that you're listening to, they are resting. They are going and sleeping. I'm not. I'm still here, whatever happens, going to drop you some bombs and deliver some content to you. So make sure, if you're on YouTube, you subscribe to the show at Gabriel Juliet. If you're on the Clubhouse and you want to join, there is a link. You can check it out. And if you want to go on the Clubhouse to ask questions, make sure you raise your hand. And if you have any questions about online marketing, I will answer them. That's what the Clubhouse room is for. Now, let's go into the first section of today's topic, which is stop. Don't even think about creating another video until you listen to this. I got something I need to share with you guys, because let me tell you something. Like, to be honest, as I told you, I really struggled to understand how to make content that works, how to make content that was converting for a long time. I was posting a ton and I was making sure that, hey, I'm doing great captions, I'm doing great video, great content that brings value to people, but I struggled to see results in sales by posting these things. And I didn't have that for a long time until, as I told you guys, I saw and really dissected what my mentors were doing with their content. And when I realized that, all of a sudden it was really incredible. I was able to post content on a daily basis and make sure I word it the right way. And it flows directly to me, customers. Now, I'm going to share with you a few points that you guys can take and make sure that I want you to apply those, but realize a few things here and there. First, you got to stop making content feel like an ad. And that's something that's really interesting, because when you try to sell somebody, or when you take it to look at yourself, for example, whenever you're on social media, you're there for entertaining yourself, finding some information sometimes. But the thing is, you are not here to have an ad thrown onto your face. That's the point. And the thing is, whenever you see that ad, whenever you have that ad coming in your face, well, you got, defenses up. You got to be strong and be like, I'm not going to let that message go through you. You are not receptive to the message they are throwing at you. So how can you do that with your content? Because if you are trying to make content and at some point it seems like an ad for them, they will have that automatic defense mechanism that we pretty much created with all the ads that we are seeing in today's world. And they won't understand the call to action. They won't do it. So you have to really make sure that your content doesn't feel like an ad, and it's like, and it doesn't brings that defense up. That's what you really have to make sure that you don't do. So don't make that mistake. Mistake number two, thing number two, is that you can't make them buy if you don't destroy their false beliefs first. And that's a one I can go extremely deep into. The thing is, I don't have enough time to really go that deep into it. But the thing is, people are not buying your products because they have beliefs. There are things that they believe in that are preventing them to purchase your products. They don't think it's going to work. They don't think it's going to work for them. And they don't think they will be able to apply it without any external circumstances providing them to do so. So you got to make sure you address those three things. And you got to make sure that you destroy those false beliefs first, because they can feel your product is incredible. They can believe in that. But if they don't, for example, believe in themselves being able to apply what you just offered them, they won't buy. Or if they believe that something else is going to prevent them to get those results, they won't buy. Or even if they don't believe that's the right vehicle, they won't buy. So you got to address those sales beliefs, those false beliefs that they got, and you got to destroy them and replace them with new beliefs. And how can you do that? How can you do that? Well, I'm going to share with you guys a little technique I use to make sure that you can do that. No gimmicks, by the way, no like tips like gimmicks, because gimmicks don't work. I only share processes that will work for the best of your customers and yourself, and that will work forever. So I'm going to share that further in today's episode. Next thing that you need to know is that yes, we're always like talking about how we should post content, we should do all that. But one thing that I can not mention enough is that you guys have to ask for the action. You guys have to ask for the business, because if you don't do, you won't. People are not going to go by themselves, check out your description, and click your link. You gotta ask them to do it, because if not, something else is going to grab their attention and they're going to go and do something else. You have to tell them to do specific things, where to go, what to do, make it as easy and seamless as possible for them to do so. So you can make sure that they actually do the actions that you want them to take. Make sure you have a call to action, whatever it is. Click there, do this, do that, share, but make sure you always have a call to action. I already talked about that in the previous episode, but that's a point that I cannot go back enough on. Now, guys, if you do guys like this pod, if you do like this show, by the way, we do this every single day every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As you can see, even on the Sundays, when everybody's sleeping off, making sure they're spending some time with family. Hey, I do that as well. But I make sure that I deliver my daily value to my marketing commandos first. So guys, we do that show on YouTube and Clubhouse. So definitely go on YouTube if you want to see my pretty face and the presentation I got to show you, and make sure that you learn it better. And if you want to ask questions, whatever the question is related to marketing and sales, go on the Clubhouse for Marketing Commandos to ask your questions. Talking about questions, that's a great transition into the next subject, because I gathered a few questions that a lot of people ask on those topics that we're talking about today. And I want to make sure that those questions get answered. Question number one is, hey, how can you use stories to sell? That's a big one. That's a big one, because you always see all the times like, hey, story sells. Like people think, hey, they are story sellers, storytellers. What does that mean? Well, the thing is, there is a specific step-by-step process that you guys can use in order to make sure that you sell with stories. And I learned that thing a long time ago. And before that, I wasn't really able to make sure that I can use those stories to sell. I was struggling. I was trying to say words that they weren't really working, throwing things at the wall and seeing if they sticks. That's pretty much the way I was doing it, until I really find out the best way to do it was a simple step-by-step process, and you really have to understand it. It's basically, you go back and you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I'm going to make it simple. Beginning, middle, and an end. The beginning, always go back to the state that your customers are having right now. And if you are looking carefully, I just did that. I struggled to make stories before. I struggled to do that. I was just trying to say words, but it wasn't sticking on the wall. That's the situation you're in right now. You don't know how to do that. So I share with you something that's happened before that I did. So you see that I'm relating to you. Then the middle, you are sharing the solution that you just found. In my case, I just found the process that I'm sharing with you right now. The solution is the process. And the way they're going to perceive that is, oh, he was in the same situation and he's got that same solution I'm searching for. You find it out. What is it? You're interested all of a sudden. And then you show the after. Before you were not knowing how to make those stories. Now you do. Now you're able to do those stories to sell and actually to make sure you get some clients. You see? So the beginning, before, so the beginning, sorry, middle, and then that's how it works. Now, next little question. Let me go into it. Question number 2, which is, what is the best way to make a call to action? Well, it depends on the platform that you're doing it. But here we're talking on content, 3 pieces of content you're putting out. Well, there is a way to do that, which is, I would say, the subtle way to make a call to action, because you have people that ask, hey, click this, subscribe this and that. The problem is, as I told you guys, if you do that, the barriers of you listening to the advertisement is going to rise up. You're going to have your defenses up because, hey, it's an ad. I shouldn't be listening to this. I don't want to buy. Well, the key is to not make that defenses rise up. And one of the best ways to do that is to make sure that your call to action is seamless and apart from the content that you're giving. And one of the great ways to kind of segue your way to saying a call to action is to say something like this, by the way. Hey, by the way, we do this every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to listen to some more dope tips on marketing, make sure you subscribe, guys. And in the formatting and the way you deliver it, it should be seamless. It should be in the content. If you write an article, for example, you shouldn't have like that part when you're doing a call to action that's different, standing out. You want to make sure that it's within the content that you're delivering. It stays the same so it doesn't stand out, because that's the thing that shows, oh, it's an ad. And so the more it's in there and the more it's subtle, the better it's going to be when you give content and you do those things, because people won't have the defenses up and you will be able to talk directly to them. Next thing, question number 3, I'm going to share that question with you guys, which is, how can I provide value to my following? Because I see a lot of, I wanted to address that because I see like, hey, provide value, give value to your people when you're creating content. What the hell does that even mean in the first place? Well, I'm going to tell you that right now. There are 3 types of values you can provide when you're creating content. Value number 1 is you can entertain. So you make something funny, something that people can be like, oh, that's cool. I like this. I like the way it makes me feel. You entertain people. That's a way to do that. Second way is something that's informative. So something that can inform people. Maybe it's the news, maybe something they didn't know. Maybe they share some tips, some experiences that they can apply. Number 3 is something that is relatable. So something that the audience that you're talking to relates to. They can see like, oh, these guys know what I feel. These guys or this girl, he or she know what I'm feeling right now. And one of the best ways to do that, those are separate ways that are incredible to deliver content. Now, the next thing you should try to do when you try to, make it a bit your own thing is to mix all of them as much as possible. So you make something that's informative, but it's not boring, it's something that's at the same time funny. You are able to make it funny and entertaining at the same time, or you're able to make it as relatable to them as well. So the more you're going to be able to use those 3 together, separately and together, the more value you're going to be able to provide to your people. So those were some interesting questions with interesting answers. And by the way, if you want to get those things like that more, make sure that you subscribe to the show and that you come back every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we do this every single day. Yes, every single day. I'm going to be here. Whatever the face I got, whatever the things I got to do, I'm going to make sure that you guys get your daily marketing knowledge. No BS, all things that you guys can use, and make sure that you apply them. Now let's go into the next section. And if you guys start to understand the format of the show, you know that, hey, those are the mistakes that you guys should avoid. A lot of mistakes were made by me when I was trying to make sure that I get deliver the best results. And I really struggled when I told you making content, and I really struggled to make sure that I was able to deliver content that was great, delivered value, and that can make sure that it brings a bit of customers to me. So the way I figured it out is by understanding and dissecting those processes, and also dissecting the mistakes, because you see the things that are working, and you also see the things that are not working. And I was able to take all of those things, gather them as mistakes that you guys shouldn't do, and here they are. So which of these video selling mistakes will you make? So mistake number one, not having a call to action. I already talked to that one in the previous episode, but hey, if you don't tell them what they're gonna have to do, they won't do it. They will do things by their own. And you know that if you are here for a reason. You are here to make them deliver a specific result. Then you know that you gotta show them what to do, because you know what's the right thing to do for them. Next mistake, which is having too many call to actions. Because yes, you should have one call to action, but only one. Because if not, you are going to make it too complicated. It's not going to be simple. And the less simple it is, the bigger the drop on your conversions you will have. So make sure that you are only having one call to action at a time. And I see that mistakes made by the content creators a lot of times. Hey, make sure you go on my subs on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter. Hey guys, one call to action at a time. Make sure that you guys only do one call to action at the time. Next mistake, making a call to action look like an ad. I already talked about that previously. The thing is, it should be seamless. It should be in your, the way you're talking, in your content. By the way, make sure you check out the YouTube channel if you want to see how visually this thing look. I just did it right now. You can do that by introducing it with by the way. Hey, those things, when you're able to do that, you can basically include them into your pieces of content. And that's a great way to do things, because people won't have defenses up, and they will be able to hear the message that you got for them. Next one, bonus one. No, I always like to throw some bonuses at you. Bonus is, you're not destroying their false beliefs. That's deep, because you can have call to actions. You can talk to them directly. You can be a master at getting them when they're not thinking about you. But if you do not destroy their false beliefs, what's going to happen is nothing's going to happen, because they will believe that they won't believe in your product, they won't believe in themselves being able to deliver the results, and they will believe that some other things will prevent them to get those results done. So you got to address those three things, and you got to make sure that those three things are handled with stories of proof, because stories changes their false beliefs. And I will make a dedicated episode on stories and how to change false beliefs. But the thing is, to make it really quick, before I dive deep into another episode, the thing that you should do is use stories that will show that, hey, the belief that you got, it's not true. Let me share with you stories that I was in the same situation as you. I saw that thing, and then I was good. And you got to make sure that story becomes the new beliefs that they got. And when they will believe the same thing as you do, they will be able to get the results that you want them to get. And that's one of the things that I want to address. A lot of the times I really struggle to do and to apply the content, the action plans that I got. Even though I get a ton of content that can make me millions and millions of dollars, I really struggled at some point to apply it, until I really found out what was the problem. The problem was I wasn't convinced, and my false beliefs, I had too many false beliefs in my head. And what happens was, when I was trying to implement something else, I didn't really believe in the material enough to apply it. And really, when I checked back into the material again and again and again, and that I changed my false beliefs, or they were changed by the guy or the girl that was talking on the, or that was delivering the contents, I was able to really see improvement into the way I implement those specific tactics. And then I was able to use them, and I saw great improvement. The thing is, you have to address those false beliefs first, because if you don't do that before you ask for the business, nothing's going to happen. They won't do anything. Now, That was pretty good. I love talking about story selling and all those things because that's really the way you do one-to-many selling. People say, oh, like selling with stories, it's BS. No, it's a sales process on one-to-many selling, and it really works. You just have to know how it works and how you can help them think the right way for them to take action and for them to actually do the right decision for them. And guys, by the way, if you want to ask your questions, if you want to go on Clubhouse, the Marketing Commandos, you can ask questions. Let's say you want more details about a specific story selling framework specifically made for your industry. Hey, no problem. Go join the Clubhouse and I will answer that question. No problem. And any other questions that you guys have. Now, let's go into the next section of today's episode. The next section is to actually a step-by-step framework on how you guys, step-by-step framework on how everybody can make content that converts in minutes. A step-by-step framework. 3 steps. I got the 3 steps that if you put them together, you're going to be able to get a ton of conversions with your content which you are creating. Step number 1 is that you got to give value. Give value, you got to give entertainment, you got to give information, and or something that is relatable. If you can combine all of them, that's even better. So give value first on your piece of content. Second, you should destroy their false beliefs. Use the stories to change the false beliefs of what beliefs they got in their head to show them, hey, no, actually, it works. Let me show you the story that thing that happened to me. Destroy those false beliefs. Because if you don't do that and ask for the business, they will have like stories of something that's not working for them that will prevent them to actually take action. So destroy those false beliefs. And now the final step is do the sole call to action. By the way, if you want to go, if you're on Clubhouse and you want to go watch it, the show, the Marketing Commandos shows on YouTube, you can do that because I got a step-by-step process laid out with like titles and all that, images. And I know for you guys that are visual learners and that want maybe to take some notes, it's maybe going to be easier. So if you guys want to benefit from that, make sure you go on YouTube. And I just did a solo call to action. You can introduce a solo call to action by saying things like, by the way, like, oh, I just thought about this. Like, you got to make sure that, by the way, is one of the best. The thing is, you really have to think about the way to introduce your call to action seamlessly when you're doing free content, seamlessly into your emails, into your daily broadcast, seamlessly into your post, seamlessly into everything that you're doing. Because if it screams like advertisements, if it screams like, yeah, I'm trying to grab your attention for you to make something, people are going to see that. And we all have that automatic mechanism that helps us not to perceive to see an ad. You know, when you're like, oh, like it's time for the ads on TV, I'm going just to go on my phone. You see what I mean? That defenses wall that's rising. Well, if you do it seamlessly, those walls won't be able to be rose up. And what's the best thing is that you will be able to talk directly to the people that you want to talk and help them the best you possibly can. So do that solo call to action by saying, hey, by the way, and then you just do that. It's great in the PS section, postscriptum section of an email as well. Now, guys, we are going into the last section of today's topic, which are the final thoughts. So if you guys on YouTube want to ask some questions about the specific things, a specific situation, maybe a specific issue that you got, make sure that you go into the Clubhouse room to ask those questions because the show is coming to an end. So I want to make sure that you guys get there with a fresh mind and fresh ideas that you can implement. And I want to make sure they are right. So go into the Clubhouse room, Marketing Commandos right now, if you want to ask your questions. Let's do a little quick summary of what we just learned today. Number 1, go for the close the right way. Always ask for the business. But to ask for the business, you got to make sure that you do it the right way. And the right way is by saying, by the way, by introducing a solo call to action. You throw it in there, and so you make sure that, okay, it doesn't stand out and it doesn't scream advertisement. Because if you do that, customers are going to have their defenses up, like, hey, this is an ad, I'm not going to listen to it. But if you do it like seamlessly, hey, by the way, we're just opening and having a few more seats for our event. If you check out this link, you will be able to get your like 100%, like 50% off the normal price. But if I did, hey, check this out, we got this hit, like you see, like you're like, okay, that's another hand. But you gotta make sure that you do not make them have the defense mechanism up because you are not going to be able to talk to them. So go for the close the right way. Number two, always be giving value. So those are the three value types that you're going to be able to give. You got information, you got relatable content, and you got entertainment. Entertainment, information, and relatable. Something that is relatable. If you can combine those three together, that's even better. Now, let's go into the last thing that we can take out from today's episode. Use stories to destroy their false beliefs. That's extremely important. You got to make sure that those beliefs that they got about themselves, about your products, and about the external things that are preventing them to do the things that they want to, you got to address those things. You got to destroy them, because if you don't, they are not going to be able to take that big action that you want them to take, a big leap of faith, because they've got those things in their head that are saying them, no, it doesn't work. Remember what's happened there, and those narratives go back in their head again and again and again. And you got to make sure that with your stories, you replace those with, oh, actually it does work. You remember that story from that guy? That's the way you should do it, and that's the way you can make sure that you destroy the false beliefs. And that's actually the best way to set up for a close, basically. Now, guys, we're coming to the end of the show. So make sure that if you have questions, I'm going to wait a few more seconds if you guys want to jump on Clubhouse. But by the way, it is every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that you stay tuned and that you put somebody onto this episode by sharing it. Share the episode to give it to somebody that needs some help marketing-wise, or I just want to grow his or her business. Damn. So thirsty. Today, guys, I really did something that was incredible. Like, I just went for a birthday party. It's maybe the reason why I look a bit like tired and all, but thing is, I always go back and make sure I stay hard during those days. So I went for a 1 hour quick run, and I went there and was like, hey, you know what? It's pretty cold out here in France. It's like 8 degrees Celsius. Pretty cold. I'm going to go shirtless doing it in shorts. So hey, pretty good, Gabriel, pretty good. But you know, like, it was sunny, it was good. I was even like pretty warm during the whole thing. So I was like, what's the next way for me to being able to suffer? And I remember that the place I went to actually has big like something that's connected to the sea right next to it. And it's pretty cold. It's like 11 degrees Celsius. And I was like, that's maybe one of the best way you can do that, because hey man, you're gonna run, you throw yourself in the water, the cold water, and then you still keep running. That's gonna be savage. So I went for it. I went in the water. And I'm going to share a video of that happening really soon. I think just after the show on social media, so make sure you check it out. But I'm going to show you a video, guys. Fully immersed in the water. Man, like in 4 steps, my feet were numb. So I was like, oh, you know, you always think it's cold and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go in the water and like it's going to be cold. Yeah. But when you're actually in the water, your brain goes in like, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, you go like into the panic mode. But the thing is, you got to remain calm and remain focused. That's the thing. You got to keep working, you got to keep advancing to your goal, and make sure that you realize that, hey, you're a freaking badass. Because, hey, it's Sunday. I'm here talking to you guys. I did that run, and that gives me a lot of power. That makes me a really dangerous man, because the more action I take, the stronger I become, and the more unstoppable I become. So make sure that you guys become badasses today. That's gonna be it for the show of today's episode of Marketing Commandos. So make sure that's my guys, my Marketing Commandos. Make sure that you jump on to the next week, to the next month actually. Make sure that you jump onto that next month and that you tackle that with extreme aggressivity and adversity, and that you crush it, because I know that there is some greatness inside of you. So get after it, get growing, and guys, I see you tomorrow on the Marketing